So before going to the significant system subject, we will discuss some basic mathematical concept which are essential for practicing significant system problems. Okay. So I quickly review different concepts which we commonly used in significant system. That is related to the complex number concept, Euler's formula, and summation, notation, and trigonometry. And we will discuss the problems related to the very basic concept. Okay, and how we can convert a number from polar to rectangular, and how we can perform a complex addition, and similarly how we can approach the trigonometric functions, etc. Okay, so we'll start with the first question. We need to represent the complex number in polar form. So there are two representation for a complex number, that is known as a rectangular and polar form. So the given form is known as the rectangular form. For example, x is equal to the complex number x is given by a plus jb. So we can write the number x is equal to a plus jb. And one more point, in signal system, normally this j we will use to indicate the imaginary number, root minus 1. But in normally in mathematics, we will use the notation I for representing the imaginary number. But in electronics and communication, normally this I is used to represent the current value. So we will use the letter J to represent the imaginary number. So throughout our discussion, you can expect J for representing the imaginary number. So how we can convert this polar form into rectangular form? So this is rectangular form. So in order to convert a polar form, it is known as a magnitude angle form. So we need to find the magnitude of the given number. So magnitude of the complex number is simply root of a square plus b square. And you can also represent like this, the magnitude of a plus jb. Okay. And similarly, we need to find out the angle. So angle is represented by tan inverse the imaginary part, that is b, divided by the real part. So tan inverse b by a. So you can also represent angle a plus jb. Okay. And finally, you need to represent the complex number in polar form, that is x will represent magnitude in angle form. So you need to write magnitude here and e raised to j angle. So that is the exact representation of a complex number in polar form. So you need to write magnitude here, that is magnitude is root of a square plus b square and into e raised to j. In place of angle, you can write the angle, that is tan inverse b by e. Okay. And in most of the time, for the convenience, we can avoid this e raised to j term, and we will write simply angle tan inverse b by a. But this is the correct notation for a complex number in polar. Okay, we'll take one example. Assume that x is equal to 1 minus j2. Okay, I need to convert into polar form. So first I need to find the magnitude. So magnitude is equal to root of 1 square plus minus 2 the whole square. Okay. A square plus b square. So here b is minus 2. That is very important because you need to write 1 plus j minus 2. Okay. So we'll get 1 plus 4 becomes root 5. And angle is equal to tan inverse b by a. Here b is equal to minus 2. It's very important. Don't forget to write the minus sign. minus 2 by 1. So this you can write tan inverse minus 2. So now finally you can write x is equal to uh, root 5 e raised to j tan inverse minus 2. Okay, so this is the notation, and sometimes we will write magnitude angle form, that is root 5 and tan inverse minus 2. Okay. So this tan inverse minus 2, we can also write minus tan inverse 2. Now we'll discuss next area. So how we can perform the addition and multiplication of a complex number. For example, assume that x1 is equal to some 1 plus j2 and x2 is equal to 2 plus j3. Okay. So we need to perform addition and subtraction. So remember that when you want to perform addition or subtraction, we will use the rectangle form, that is convenient. So we need to perform x1 plus x2. You can simply add the real part. So here 2 plus 1 3, and here the imaginary part we will add, that is 5. So this is your sum result. So we can use the rectangle form directly. But if you want to perform the multiplication or division, it is convenient to use the polar form notation. So you can write the polar form notation of this x1. For example, the magnitude of the first number x1 is a1. So you can write 1 square plus 2 square, which is equal to root 5. And let the angle is theta 1. Angle of the first complex number is theta 1. So I can write tan inverse 2 by 1, that is tan inverse 2. Now for the second number, let be a2 be the magnitude for x2. So we can write 2 square plus 3 square, which is equal to 4 plus 9, okay, which is 30. Okay. Then angle theta 2 is equal to tan inverse 3 by 2. So the first number I can represent in polar form like this. X1 is equal to a1 e raised to j theta 1, and the second number x2 you can write a2 e raised to j theta 2, or in actual values it's root 5 e raised to j uh, tan inverse 2, and for x2 you can write root 13 e raised to j tan inverse 3 by 2. And now we need to perform the multiplication, that is x1 into x2. You can use this polar form notation. So you can write the first number, uh, that is root 5 e raised to j tan inverse 2 into the second number. So root 13 e raised to j tan inverse 3 by 2. So if you perform this, you can multiply the magnitude part, root 5 into root 13, and the angle is e raised to, so you can add e raised to j, you can add the angles, tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 by 2. Okay. And when it is given in the magnitude angle form, that is x1 is given root 5 angle tan inverse 2, and x2 is given root 13 angle tan inverse 3 by 2. So commonly we use this particular notation. We will not use e raised to j term, but XR notation is e raised to j. So when it is given directly in this form, x1 into x2, we can simply find the product of the magnitude part, root 5 into root 13, and angle, we can add tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 by 2. So magnitude part, you will simply perform the multiplication, and the angle part you will add. Okay, when it's a product. And similarly, we can try the division also, x1 by x2. When it is x1 by x2, we can simply divide the magnitude part, root 5 by root 13. And when it comes to the angle, the numerator angle minus denominator angle. That is, numerator angle is tan inverse 2 minus tan inverse 3 by 2. So that is formula. Uh, when it is a product term, you will add theta 1 plus theta 2, and when it is a division, you will perform theta 1 minus theta. Okay, and sometimes the value will be different. Make sure that values are correct. Okay. Okay, you need to simplify this so that you can use the calculator. Okay. Now we'll discuss the Euler's formula, and it's very commonly used in signal system. And Euler's formula e raised to j theta can be written as cos theta plus j sin theta. Okay, and if it is e raised to minus j theta, we will write cos theta minus j sin theta. And from this, we can reduce one more equation, that is a relation for cos theta. Cos theta is equal to e raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta by 2. You need to remember this formula. And sin theta, you can also write e raised to j theta minus e raised to minus j theta by 2j. It's very important. In the denominator, there is a j term or imaginary term. Okay, you can simply reduce the equation from the first two equations. Okay, this is 1 and this is 2. By simply adding 1 and 2, you will get cos theta. By subtracting, you will get the second equation. So this formula is very important. You need to remember this formula. Okay, that is, and now we need to reduce the equations. So it is given in polar form. So now we can reduce this equation, that is e raised to j 1 plus j. So you can simplify this equation. If you multiply with j, you will get j into j. Okay, so that is j square. So we'll get e raised to j minus 1. J square is minus 1 because j is a complex number, that is root minus 1. So now I can split this e raised to j into e raised to minus 1. So e raised to j, we can expand by Euler's formula. So cos theta, in place of theta, it is 1. So we can write cos 1 plus j sin 1. But if you look at the second term, this is not imaginary. It's simply e raised to minus 1. So you cannot apply Euler's formula. Euler's formula only for e raised to j terms. So, and e raised to minus 1 means you can write e raised to j divided by e raised to 1. Okay. So it will be approximately 1 by e becomes, I think it's 0.367 something. And cos 1 is approximately 0.99 plus j sin will be very small value, 0.006 or something. And if you multiply, it's not exact value, you can verify these values. Now we need to multiply. Uh, uh, I think there's a small mistake. Sorry, sine 1 is approximately 0.017. And after multiplication, this value will be almost similar to 0.366, etc. And the second term becomes j 0.006. Okay, finally you will get a complex number. So this is a simplified form. Now we can try this next question, that is 1 plus j into e raised to minus j pi by 2. So it becomes e raised to minus j pi by 2 plus j e raised to minus j pi by 2. Okay. If you expand this by using Euler's formula, you can write cos pi by 2 minus j sine pi by 2. This is the first term, and the second term is j uh, cos pi by 2 minus j sine pi by 2. Okay, and cos pi by 2 is cos 90. Uh, cos 90 is 0 minus uh, sine pi by 2 is 1. Okay, so you'll get minus j plus j, this term will be 0. Okay, which cos pi by 2 will be 0, and you need to multiply j into j. So you can write j 0 minus j sine pi by 2 is again 1, so you'll get minus j. If you simplify this, minus j plus here, if you write j minus j into j. Okay, so it becomes j into j becomes minus 1, minus into minus plus 1. So you'll get minus j plus 1, or you can write 1 minus j. Okay. That will be the notation. So now we'll find the complex number 2 e raised to j pi by 4, 5 pi by 4. So if you expand this e raised to j 5 pi by 4, okay, it becomes 2. You can apply Euler's formula, cos 5 pi by 4 plus j sine 5 pi by 4. Okay, so 2 into and cos pi by 4 is 145, it's 1 by root 2. And if you take 5 pi by 4, this is pi by 4, and this is 1 pi by 4, this is 2 pi by 4, this is 3 pi by 4, and this is 4 pi by 4, and this is 5 pi by 4. So we'll get 5 pi by 4 is equal to 225. So cos in the third quadrant. Okay, so it becomes minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by root 2 plus j, again j sine 5 pi by 8 in third quadrant. Sine 5 by 4 is also 1 by root 2, and 5 pi by 4 means again in third quadrant. So you'll get again minus 1 by root 2. So if you simplify this, 2 by root 2, you can write root 2, because 2 by root 2. So you can multiply with it root 2 in the numerator and denominator. So you get 2 root 2. So you can cancel 2 2. So it becomes minus root 2. Again minus j root 2. So if you take minus root 2 common, it becomes 1 plus j. So this is a simplified form. Now we need to write the next term, that is e raised to minus j pi plus e raised to j 6 pi. So we can write cos pi minus j sine pi is one term, and second term becomes cos 6 pi plus j sine 6 pi. So if you write cos cos 180. Okay, uh, it becomes, so we know that cos 0 is 1 and cos 180 is minus 1. So here cos 180, that is minus 1, and sine 0 and sine 180 is 0. So we can write 0 here, plus cos 6 pi. So this is 1 pi, this is 2 pi, and this is 3, again 4, 5, and 6. So we'll get the value of cos 0. Cos 0 is 1, and plus sine 6 pi means again sine 0. So that is 0. So we'll get minus 1 plus 1. So overall this is equal to 0. So now we'll see how will you approach the summation formula. So when you discuss discrete time signals, you usually use this notation sigma, and you are comfortable with integration, but you should also know how to approach the sigma values. And when it is sigma, it's a meaning you need to substitute k is equal to 1 to 3. That value of k is ranging from 1 to 3 x of k. So you need to substitute the value of k is equal to 1 first, plus x of 2, plus k is ranging from 1 to 3. So we need to write x of 3. So this is the expression. And in order to avoid this lengthy expression, we are using this simplified summation notation. So you need to know how to evaluate or how to elaborate this summation formula. And also you should know how we can simplify a lengthy equation, like the sum series, into a simple summation formula. And here you can see the addition is commutative. That is, you can also write which is equal to the reverse order, because x of 3 plus x of 2 plus x of 1 are equal. Okay, so I can write this expression like this: sigma k is equal to 3 to 1 x of k. Okay, so there is no problem when you write 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, but this is not a case in the case of integration, that we will discuss later. And so in the case of summation, I can change the limits uh, from one value to the other. For example, if k is ranging from minus n to n, I can simply write which is equivalent to sigma k is equal to n to minus n. No problem. We can simply change the limit. Okay, order of the limit. Okay, this is minus n to n. Now it is n to minus n. There is no problem in the case of summation, because summation is a commutative. But this is not the case of integration. When you perform integration, here you can see that the limit is from 1 to 3 x of t dt. So when you change the limit, that is from 3 to 1 x of t dt, you need to put a minus sign. Then only the equation becomes equal. So always remember that in the case of summation, you can simply change, but in the case of integration, if you change the limit, order of the limit, you need to put an extra minus. Okay, so please remember these concepts. And similarly, here you can see that this is an integral function, and after integrating, we are differentiating. So we know that integration and differentiation are connected. So here you can see that once we are integrating and then differentiating, so it will be simply x of t. Okay, so similarly, many approaches we need to remember, and this is very commonly used one. So when there is an integration and in differentiation, the same expression, the final answer will be like simply x of t. Again, the common thing, frequently we need to remember this, we need to use this value, sine, cos values. So 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. So in order to remember these values, there is an easy way. Those who are aware about these values, please ignore this particular portion. So others, please listen. And you can simply write these values. Okay, remember this value. First, you can write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and after that you can divide by 4, and now we can put a root sign. Okay, so you will get first quantity, that is sine 0, you will get 0, and next term 30, sine 30 is 1 by 2, and sine 45 you will get 1 by root 2, and 60 becomes root 3 by 2, and 90 is simply 1. And for the cos term, you can simply write the reverse, that is 1 root 3 by 2. Okay, so cos, you can write, or you can write the reverse also, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and divide by 4, and you can take the root. So that is simply the reverse of the sign. So you can write 1 root 3 by 2. Here again is 1 by root 2, 1 by 2, 0. And if you want to find tan, simply take the sine by cos. So it is 0, and here you will get 1 by root 3. This is 1, and here it is root 3, and here it is undefined. Okay, so this is all about the sinus values. Okay, so you need to remember all the trigonometric formula, but most commonly used the trigonometric formula, that is a half angle formula. Very frequently we will use in a single sign system. That is sine square a by 2 is 1 minus cos a by 2. This is also we can write in another way, that is sine square a is equal to 1 minus cos 2a by 2. Okay, so similarly you can write cos square a, which is equal to 1 plus cos 2a by 2. Okay. You need to remember this half angle formula, and similarly you need to remember the sum formula, sin a plus b and sin a minus b. Sin a plus b is sin a cos b plus cos a sin b, and if it is minus, minus. And in the case of cos, if it is a plus b, we'll write minus first, cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. So at least you should remember the four formulas. Anyway, you need to use all of the formulas, but frequently we will use, at least you need to study these two formulas. Okay. And finally, we will discuss the sum formulas. Okay. Uh, for example, there is a sequence, and the summation formula is like this: sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity a raised to k, and this a is less than 1. Then this summation formula is you can simplify by 1 by 1 minus a. Okay, so always remember that the modulus of a is less than 1. So this very important formula uh, when you discuss discrete time signals, you need to remember this formula. So please mark this particular formula. It is very important in finite sequence. Sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity a raised to k is simply 1 by 1 minus a. And now we can see that this sequence is up to infinity. Okay, this limit is from 0 to infinity, and now we can see that the third formula, that is sigma k is equal to 1 to infinity a raised to k. So this is from 1 to infinity. Here it is from 0 to infinity. Now it is from 1 to infinity. So if you write that, you can write uh, this is, if you substitute, it becomes a raised to 1 a square a cube plus extra up to a raised to infinity. Okay, so if you take a common, it becomes a raised to 0, a raised to 1, a square, etc., etc. So you can simply write, it becomes k is equal to 0 to infinity minus 1 is equal to infinity a raised to k. So you can substitute the formula, it becomes 1 by 1 minus a. Or in simple words, if the limit is starting from k is equal to 1 to infinity, you need to write a into 1 by 1 minus a. if the limit is from k is equal to 2 to infinity a raised to k and modulus of a is less than 1, you need to write a square into 1 by 1 minus. If it starts from 3 onwards, a cube into 1 minus. So please remember these two formulas is very important. And another point, if the limit is a finite quantity, that is k is from 0 to n, not infinity, a raised to k, then the equation is different. You write 1 minus a raised to n plus 1. This is also very important. When it is from 0 to n, you need to write a raised to n plus 1. If it is from 0 to n minus 1, it's simply a raised to n. Okay. So 1 minus a raised to n plus 1 by 1 minus. So this is these first three formulas are very important. Please remember this formula and also this condition. And this is used when the sequence is finite, that is slightly modified. Previously it is from 0 to n, now it is from n1 to uh, some n2. So now you can see that this formula k is from n1 to n2. Okay, at least you should remember the first three. That is very important. You can write a raised to n1 minus a raised to n2 plus 1 divided by 1 minus a. Slightly the modified one, the previous one. And when it is from k is equal to 1 to n, the sum of first n natural number formula. So that is in it is substitute k 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus up to n. That is simply n into n plus 1 by 2. So now we discussed some basic sum formulas and the basic concept in complex numbers and trigonometry, etc. So these concepts are is very essential when you do the problems in signals and systems. So make sure that you are comfortable with all these terms. If you feel any if you are not comfortable with this equations or the concept, please refer the corresponding portions and make sure they are thorough in this particular portion. Okay, thank you.